Hey guys, welcome back to a new perfume video. Today I'm going to be reviewing some new perfumes that just recently launched. I ended up doing what I said in my last video. I picked up some samples and I got them in the mail a few days ago. So I've worn all of these on my skin. I've smelled them all on paper, and these are not first impressions because I wanted to get a little bit more of an idea. I feel like first impressions are a little bit hard to really judge the fragrance. I will put up a picture of the full bottle and the notes on screen as well. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. Do let me know what other fragrance videos you want to see from me on this channel. I would love to hear your suggestions. I'd also love if you would subscribe down below if you're new, and let's get into it. First off, we have a new fragrance by the brand Phlur, and this is their Mood Ring perfume. So this is one I feel like a lot of people were excited for because this brand is gaining a lot of popularity, and it comes in this like bright green striking bottle. And I just feel like people get really excited for new releases from Phlur. I know a lot of people have been describing this as like a gummy bear kind of scent, and that's really the only thing I've seen about this. As far as reviews go, I haven't really looked at reviews, but I will say the opening does have that very sweet, fruity, sort of floral scent to it, kind of candy-like, so I can see where people get that from. To my nose, personally, if I were to pick a candy this smells like, I would say Nerds. For some reason, when I first got this on paper and smelled it, the first thing I picked up was like those Nerd candies with the gummies in the middle. I kind of get a little bit of that essence in there, but I definitely think it's a little bit more than that. It reminds me a lot of my Nest Wild Poppy perfume. That's just one that I have that I could compare it to. Kind of has that sharp, sweet opening. It's very likable, mass-pleasing, nothing too out there or crazy, nothing that we haven't smelled before. I will say this one is a little bit different on paper and maybe clothes too than it is on my skin. I feel like once it starts drying down on paper, I get more of the patchouli, which on my skin, I feel like it doesn't come out as harsh. I get the patchouli note either way, but it's more subdued and melts into the skin a little bit more than it does when you smell it on paper. Because of that, I prefer this on my skin. I am kind of picky about patchouli. I will say once it starts drying down on the skin, I have it on my arm right now, I get this like Flower Bomb vibe from it. It's especially similar to the Flower Bomb EDT version that was discontinued years ago, but if you've watched my channel, you probably know I love that perfume, and that's what really got me to fall in love with the Flower Bomb fragrance. But not a lot of people know about it because it's the EDP that's the most popular, and Flower Bomb has like a million flankers now, so I do feel like it's more similar to that one, but it just has that kind of Flower Bomb DNA vibe to it. I feel like it's partially the patchouli in there mixed with that sweetness that's kind of giving it that. Again, it's nothing super special or different. I think it's a nice scent. I think it's likable. I don't think you need it if you have something along those lines, or if you're looking for something more unique or just like more niche. It's definitely a designer smelling scent to my nose personally. Anyways, moving on. The other two fragrances that I have here do have some similarities. They're more like warm, wintry kind of fragrances. The first one is the new YSL Black Opium Flanker. This is the over red version, which is supposed to be like a cherry take on Black Opium. So I was actually very excited to smell this one because I've kind of been looking for the perfect cherry scent. And I smelled it at Sephora, but I have to say when I first just sprayed it on the tester and smelled it, it's what I'm getting now. It's that kind of cough syrup, synthetic cherry, which is what most cherry perfumes are to an extent, but I feel like this one's extra medicinal compared to the other cherries I've smelled, and it was kind of throwing me off, but I decided I'm going to get a sample anyways and try it on my skin and all that stuff. I still got the same thing with the sample on paper, but I do feel like on the skin, it warms up and dries down pretty quickly to smelling very similar to Black Opium. It really has that DNA on skin. On paper, I don't get that as much. It does get less medicinal as it dries down, but I don't get the Black Opium quality as much on paper. I was thinking it was only the Phlur one that smelled different on skin, but I feel like this one actually does too, just because that Black Opium DNA does come out more on skin. Do I think you need it if you already have Black Opium? No, I don't think it's a super linear cherry. I don't think it stays around for a ton of time. I do feel like you get a little hint of the cherry throughout the fragrance, but if you're gonna go out and pick up a cherry perfume, I feel like you would want something a little bit more juicy, or even if it has that depth and warmth to it, you want the cherry to stick around and not in a medicinal way. So I don't know, I just feel like this doesn't do enough for me to be worth picking up a full bottle, and I am kind of bummed because I was really excited about it. But yeah, I feel like I've smelled better cherries, especially in the opening. It's just pretty medicinal. I don't feel like there's a ton else I can say about that one. So moving on to Tom Ford. This is their new perfume in Vanilla Sex. I feel like it's been pretty hyped up and talked about, and I was looking forward to trying this one and just kind of seeing what the hype's been about. I gotta tell you, this is not what I was expecting. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this on the paper. So the thing with this one, when you first smell this, you get like a blast of just straight almond cookies, like those almond sugar cookies that you get. Imagine it has like a ton of almond extract in it. That's what this smells like vanilla almond cookies. It's very much that synthetic almond extract scent, which is personally not my favorite. I prefer a little bit more of a realistic almond, if that makes sense. But as soon as this starts drying down, like within a couple minutes, it starts getting this very, like, the only thing I can compare it to and think of, the first thought that comes into my mind is dentist's office. Like, it smells like a dentist's office, if you know what I mean. There's just that, like, I don't want to call it menthol-y, because it's not quite that, and you still get the, like, vanilla, but it starts smelling like a cheap vanilla, and then it's, like, just dentist. And then, once it fully dries down, especially on the skin, it becomes very Play-Doh-y and just, like, synthetic, cheap vanilla, and it's just a real bummer to me because this is an expensive perfume. Like, Tom Ford is not cheap, and I feel like you could do more, even if you want to go in that route of an almond vanilla. But it could be done so much better than this. The dentist office note almost comes off a little like cleaning product too. It's not for me. Like I said, I've worn this on my skin. I've smelled it on paper. I don't like it. If you like the scent of fake almond vanilla cookies, you might like the first 30 seconds to a minute of this perfume because that's what it smells like, but it very quickly takes a different route, and that sticks around for a while. I do feel like once you've had it on for a few hours and it's fully dried down, you get more of the Play-Doh-y vanilla, which some people might like. To my nose, it just smells kind of cheap, and it's not the type of vanilla scent that I personally like. So maybe I'm not the best judge of that. I just wouldn't go for a Play-Doh-y vanilla. But if I was going to go for one, it just wouldn't be this one. It does have that kind of cheap vanilla body spray scent to it, and it's just not my favorite. I'm sorry if you like this perfume. We all have different tastes in scents. It's just not one that I like, and I wouldn't recommend spending your money on it, especially because some of the Tom Ford perfumes don't last super well. This one I don't feel like is horrible from what I've worn on skin, but I don't feel like it's super great either. And if you're going to spend that price point on a perfume, you do want it to stick around, and obviously you want to like it too, but I just think there are other options out there if you're looking for this type of vanilla. I wouldn't say to spend your money on this one, but obviously if you already have it and you already like it, that's great. Scent is very subjective. Before you go, if you're still here watching, I do have one other perfume I got that is not a new release. I talked about it in my last video, how it's been on the top of my perfume wish list. I did end up getting a sample of the Bianco latte perfume. Again, I really don't want to try to pronounce this. Giardini di Toscana. This one I have also worn on skin, but I have not smelled it on paper yet. I thought I would quickly go over it with you guys and just kind of give you my thoughts so far. I feel like I need more time with it, especially because I want to love the scent, so I want to give it more of a chance, and I feel like it can be hard with samples to like get the full effect if you're not putting on a ton, which I've been trying to put on like an ample amount of these fragrances so that I can really give you guys a review. But anyways, this is one that I have not smelled on paper yet. I've only smelled it on my skin, and I don't know why. I guess I just was wanting to put it on my body and see how I felt about it, so I haven't smelled it on paper, which I do feel like this could maybe give me a little bit more of an accurate feeling of this scent because everybody has different kind of skin chemistry, and I want to know how this would smell on my clothes too. Okay, so this one in the opening, it does have a sweet vanilla, kind of airy, fluffy cake-like scent. And honestly, the first time I smelled this, the first perfume that came to my mind was the Billie Eilish perfume. Even got a little bit of the Killian Princess one, but I do feel like it is a little bit more gourmand than the Princess perfume. But if I did have to pick one thing to compare it to the most, I'd probably say the Eilish perfume, which is kind of surprising for me because I didn't expect this to smell like a niche fragrance, really. I expected it to be a sweet vanilla gourmand, but I do think I expected a little bit more caramel than what I get in this. I will say the caramelly kind of scent comes out more in the dry down, and also I get a little bit of that unique quality from it. I think it might be the coumarin, or coumarin, however you say that. I don't know how I feel about that because I haven't really smelled that in other scents, and it is a little bit different, but it's not off-putting to my nose at all. I feel like it blends nicely with the scent. If I'm being completely honest, part of me is a little bit disappointed that it's not more of its own fragrance compared to the Eilish one, because I do already have the Billie Eilish perfume, and I know Kathleen Lights has raved about this Bianco latte scent, and I know she has Billie Eilish too, and I don't think she's compared them or said like that the Billie Eilish one is a good dupe. I don't know if everyone's noses would get the same thing from this though. Maybe someone else wouldn't smell that as much as me. Like I said, I do feel like the dry down is more different from that fragrance, and it is a very pleasant scent. I'm just not sure if I need it enough to like spend the price tag on it. Like, it's pretty pricey. It's not like a super expensive niche perfume, but it's kind of similar to some of the Kilian fragrances, and it's definitely more than some designer scents. So I do feel like if I'm gonna get a bottle, I want to really, really be in love with it and feel like it's different enough from my other scents. So I am going to keep wearing this one on my skin and my clothes because I really want to get a full feel for this one before I would get a bottle. Thankfully, this one is a full sample. Some of these are only filled halfway. For whatever reason, they're more pricey to get the full sample. This one is filled all the way, and I think I can get a decent amount of uses out of it. So I'm definitely going to continue to test it out. And I do really like the scent. But like I said, I just want it to be different enough from everything I have that it's worth it. Like I said, wasn't expecting anything crazy different or unique. I just have to keep trying it out and see how I feel. So that is it for this fragrance review video. I would like to keep doing the new releases and trying them out, giving you guys my thoughts, because I feel like it's really helpful when people do that. I like to hear different people's opinions, and obviously it can be kind of hard to get samples of new release fragrances, but I would love to do reviews on the ones I can get my hands on. So let me know if there are any specific new perfume releases that you want to see me review. I would love to pick up more samples and do more videos like this. I have some other ideas for videos too, so I definitely want to get back into doing content over here. I just think it'd be really fun, and I've been missing doing perfume videos. So let me know your thoughts on any of these, if you've smelled any or you own any. Again, I'd love if you would consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.